All right, all right, all right. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you crystal clear, my guy.
Okay, good. All right, I can hear you. So that is a plus. All right. So, hello, governor.
Hey, what's going on, champion?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much, man. Glad to be here. Glad to get a chance to talk about this thing that we did that didn't go quite the way we wanted it to go, but it still
Okay.
went well, and that was watching Harlem Nights.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so, what did you think about the premiere that we did last night?
Man, it was tons of fun. First off, to everybody that was there, and especially if you're catching this on the restream, thank you so much for bopping in there and then just chopping it up with us. Because I mean, as you can see, me and Rakai, we just two laid back cats, man. We just love cinema and television, and I'm loving the energy that was in the room. I had a ton of fun. How about you?
Oh man, I had a good time, man, and and really the thing about it was we wanted to premiere this, we wanted to roll this out for Juneteenth, but
Mm-hmm.
just all the technical things and the things that go on behind the screens made that out of our reach, and that was not to, I guess, no fault of our own or whatever. It didn't go
Yeah.
when we wanted to go, but it did go. So that
Yeah.
we're extremely grateful for.
Well, they say sometimes you're the fly, sometimes you're the windshield. It just depends.
Yeah,
Us meeting those deadlines, we was the fly.
absolutely.
Oh
Right,
man.
trying to make sure, man. And that's the one thing too, man. It's like me personally, I absolutely hate to be late. Like I hate it with a passion, which I didn't used to. I used to have a hard time. I used to be quite the procrastinator, but I hate being late. Um, but just if you know anything about Centel and I, listen, duct tape and silly putty. Un- Unfortunately, that just is the name of the game. That goes way too often for us, and so
Yeah.
we just were trying to figure out a few technical things before we got started. So it didn't get started the way we wanted to or when we wanted to, but we're here now.
Yes, we here now. Hey man,
We's here now.
we's married now. I was married to the game.
Okay, me and you will never part.
Oh man, man. I know. Off the top of my head, I know we were discussing like what would be like a good film for like Juneteenth, especially coming off of the heels of some of the black exploitation projects. Well, I mean, Black Dynamite is kind of a black exploitation. Not really. It's kind of that weird, wonky kind of area, and you were just dropping like some really just gems of stuff that we could catch up on, and then we fell on Harlem Nights. Um, so I feel like it's still kind of fitting, instead of it being like, a typical vaginal slave movie on Juneteenth. We took a pivot and did something where it kind of like celebrates blackness and
Hmm.
celebrates, who we are. And I think Harlem Night is one of those kind of films. Out of now that we're in retrospect, do you feel that that was a good enough project for Juneteenth, or hindsight is 2020? Would you have changed it up a little bit and done something a little different?
Um, no, I actually feel like Harlem Nights was a great representation for Juneteenth, mainly because even though Juneteenth is the celebration of freedom, um, I think that one of the things that Juneteenth should represent for us is Black excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And Harlem Nights is all about Black excellence. It had one of the best classic ensemble crews. And you're talking about world class comedians,
Yeah.
and even a few world class actors in there. Della Reese is no slouch. She's so good. She was saved by an angel. So so I think that was a perfect project for us to do to kind of kick off our Juneteenth and kind of black exploitation series. I know that we let off a while back with with Black Dynamite, which I thought was an excellent entry into black exploitation, because it was modern, but it had an old feel, and it was very representative of the period for which it was depicting. It had plenty of action, and Michael Jai White. It was funny as all hell. So I mean, I thought it was a great way to start. And some of the people in the chat have suggested a bunch of really great movies. Like I want to say so this right here. This Ultimate TV said "Brother from Another Planet." I don't think that I've seen
that's a real old joint, if I remember right. Like that's like is that from the 80s and the 70s? Somewhere around there. I want to say like 70s, right? I've never seen it.
Maybe I never, me either. So that would be a good first watch.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, it came out in 1984. Brother from Another Planet, and it's got oh my gosh, the dude. Oh my gosh, Joe Morton. He was
okay.
Oh my gosh, Shonda
Joe
Rhimes,
Morton, Shonda Rhimes. He is the father of
when you gave that legendary speech to a girl in Scandal. Yeah. That was a legendary television monologue, man. In case y'all haven't seen it, Scandal, man.
But not only that. Before Scandal, to me, Joe Morton is always representative of. He is the brother, Father Pope. And you're right,
Father Pope.
But Joe Morton also invented or was the guy behind Cyberdyne and Skynet Systems and Terminator 2. That's right.
He's the one that takes like the little sips of air before he dies, right? Like, and he's like holding on to the thing. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Okay. Well, shoot. So he's the lead on Brother from Another Planet. Never knew that. Okay. Now I'm really intrigued.
Joe Morton is a strong actor, so that could have been. That's a wonderful thing.
So hold on. So just in case for those that are watching, and you're like, what in the world are y'all talking about? So the premise is a mute alien with the appearance of a black human is chased by outer space bounty hunters through the streets of Harlem. That definitely sounds like something from 1984.
Definitely.
Oh man.
Definitely.
Yo, I just wanted. There's somebody that's in the chat. I just got to absolutely shout out. Yo, Monique 69 Ways Johnson. Yo, you are a true blue fan. Thank you so much for joining us over on this side of things. Look at it. It's all nice and beautiful and spacious over here. River Kai's side of things. Thank you so much for bopping in here.
And look, Monique is absolutely right. Yes. And since we were talking about a different world, Whitley left him at the altar.
That was the baby. Baby, please. Yeah. Okay.
Dwayne Wayne busts up in there. Yeah, baby, please. Hey, that's a classic scene right there. And
yes, it was. Yes, it was, man.
Which is actually saying something too, because in real life, Dwayne Wayne would have got a beat down.
Oh,
he let him get shot.
Yeah, because that brother was he was like the ROTC instructor or something like that. I don't know. I forgot what it was. No, I'm thinking somebody else.
I'm senator. He was a politician.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, he was big time. Yeah, he was.
I mean,
because Glenn Turman was the ROTC dude.
That's right. That's what I was thinking of. Okay. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, ain't gonna be no disrespecting Dwayne Wayne. Now, I got breath in my lungs.
Hey, all I'm saying is that Dwayne, and you know what? That's why we love it, because it was a TV show. It gave us a slice of reality, but not necessarily reality, because Dwayne Wayne would have bust up in there and on a politician too, a senator, a black senator, be like, hey, I might be a senator, but I'm from the hood. Yeah. It's Secret Service busted Dwayne up.
Come on, like Ron would have had his back. Ron would have been there.
Ron would have been behind him. He's like, totally leave that girl alone.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of Dwayne Wayne's greatest moments. But it was a legendary moment. I think it's probably the most known moment in A Different World. I know I'm kind of like going off the getting off the beaten path of what we're supposed to be talking about. But I love
No,
that
that's
show,
all right.
and just
'Cause
as influence. Well, we're talking about like black media and period, right?
we
So
talking about what we talking about. So
yeah, yeah, man.
um,
One of the most influential shows of all time, for me, for my experience growing up, because A Different World like pushed me towards HBCUs. Dwayne Wayne was a model of that it was still cool to be smart, and then coming off of the heels of the Cosby Show, like, yes, I know Bill did his thing, but we're talking about the characters and the story of the show. It was solid. I mean, it definitely affected my community and how we talked to each other and how and what realities were possible, right?
mhm.
Yeah, just hat tip, more of that. I don't want to say we don't get that anymore because we do. It just comes in different areas and doesn't seem as
Well,
popular.
hold on, hold
Uh,
on.
when
I
you're
will.
when
I
Okay,
will
go
say
for it.
that we don't get that. We
Okay, all
don't get
right.
that.
Say more.
So okay. So when we started talking during our live stream about Black Dynamite,
Okay.
we started talking about basically what happened to black exploitation cinema.
Mm.
And ultimately, we arrived at the place that black exploitation cinema led into basically hood cinema. We got all the
Mm.
hood and gangster movies.
Mm-hmm.
In 2024, that is still true.
Mm.
And it's even more prevalent now, just because we have more outlets. You can for real like make your movie on your cell phone, on your iPhone, your
Yeah.
Samsung, your Google Pixel. Make an entire movie, edit it, use Chat GPT or whatever, write the script, make your
Yeah.
movie, edit it, and with AI tools online, drop it in YouTube, maybe get it up on Tubi, something like that. There are so many avenues and vehicles for that to get done. And unfortunately, the portrayal of us as a culture
Okay.
has this through line that's been there for a long time, and that is that of inner city, urban areas.
Mm.
And that includes drug dealing and gangster stuff. And
Mm.
America as a whole is infatuated with gangsters, all the way
Mm.
from The Godfather to Scarface to The Sopranos. So, if they get to see some Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society,
Yeah.
Snowfall from
See.
us, Power, they're all over it. And unfortunately, so are we.
Yeah. I think when we're talking about like the death of black exploitation, because black exploitation pretty much like ran the late '60s, because we're talking about the civil rights era and by people trying to find their own voice. It started slowing down a little bit in the '70s, and then it kind of you got projects like The Brother from Another Planet that kind of came out, and I still feel like black cinema was pretty largely ignored in the '80s until a little dude named Spike Lee popped up and then really reignited it. And then of course that's kind of coming off of the heels. I think Boys in the Hood was the one that really put black cinema and the black voice on the mainstream, because wasn't that one of the very first movies in the '80s where it was a script that was nominated for an Oscar or something like that? It was something like that. I remember like once.
Yeah, it was something like that. Like, and we had movies around that time um, that resonated with us as a people, but not in the same way as Boys in the Hood. You had
Right.
your Minister Society, you had New Jack City, you had South Central, the movie
Yeah.
with Glenn Plummer. Um, so there were a bunch of movies that, I mean, as a matter of fact, like I even remember a movie that I loved, wasn't a black movie, but it was it was an inner city movie, but it focused on Latinos.
Okay.
American Me.
Oh man, that was good. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I
Yes.
wasn't even ready for American Me, man. I was a kid
Yeah.
when I saw that. Well, not a kid,
Yeah.
but yeah. Yeah.
And I know there's different movies. American Me and was American Me the one with the white boy who grew up in the hood and he was Latino too, or was that Blood In, Blood Out?
That's Blood In, Blood Out. American Me
Yeah.
was the
Was that
Mexican
did that?
American mafia that was
Yeah, it was
by
Edward
Edward
James
James Olmos.
Olmos, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what put him on the map too. Was that? And then here there to kind of like to double up on what you're saying, when it came to Latin American cinema, especially, and that came out in '92. there wasn't a whole lot that was like really kicking down doors. So if you were a person of color and you weren't making gangster films, it was kind of tough for you to be seen in the regular public lexicon of what's being watched, right? So
and part of that is too. The unfortunate thing is that we love representation on the screen. So anytime you get to see us on the screen, we for it. We love it. But if the only thing that they show is American Me, Boys in the Hood, like that is only a tiny slice of what our representation is. So it's almost like, we love it and we got to take it, but it's also with what I'm saying, with a kick in the no region, like
right.
You gotta take it. It's like, yes, Lawrence Fishburne turned in a wonderful performance of Furious Styles.
Yeah.
One of those movies where I wasn't mad at Cuba Gooding Jr. We introduced Ice Cube into acting. There was a lot of great performances. Regina King. I mean,
the rebirth of Regina King.
Yeah, I mean,
because
she grew up because she's not on 227 anymore. Now,
right?
She's the hood chick sipping 40s and busting guns. Jumping in the back of the 6'4" Impala.
But there was some hitters, right? But they just weren't mainstream hitters regarding like black cinema in the 80s. Let's see, we had Do the Right Thing. Let's see, we had The Color Purple. Glory, I think was in the 80s. I think.
Yeah.
I think
come on now, single tier.
Yeah,
tier right there.
Yeah. Of course, the big one, the big one that moved me and changed my life before A Different World was Spike Lee college joint, School Days. There we go.
School Days.
School Days.
I love School Days too.
So Spike was kind of like fighting the good fight, right? To kind of like keep that narrative from going. I think Spike's first big hit was She Gotta Have It.
Yeah.
So, and then Do the Right Thing was his first time he was actually a nominee for an Academy Award, if I remember. School Days was for us, though. School Days was for us more than anything else. I think like She's Gotta Have It was kind of like, the people that were like cinephiles, black cinephiles on the low. Only a few people kind of like really watched it, but everybody in my neighborhood watched School Days, man. But then Do the Right Thing kind of got the blow. But I'm just saying all this to say that there was some stuff trying to kind of fight off the stigma, but what you're talking about was the things that rang true, like Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, New Jack City, what you were just talking about with American Me. Those are the ones that was making like dumb amounts of money, and that's not really unfortunate.
I mean, but it's easy to say they were making stupid amounts of money, but if that's the only representation that we have, it's going to make stupid amounts of money because we're going to see us. If you didn't give us any choices, then we're going to go see what we got.
Yeah.
My brother is actually not in the chat, but he just texted me, and I guess he's watching. And he said, did we know that Bill Cosby financed School Days for Spike Lee?
Yeah, I knew he wasn't the only one though, because I want to say Oprah helped too, and there was like a couple of other people. Yeah, but
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Because I know that Bill Cosby, especially back then, before he was the Bill Cosby is now, whatever. Was real funny about that and stuff, especially, what I'm saying, he didn't like blue comics or, and the ones that cuss too much and things like that. Like he was really selective. So, the fact that because if you watched She's Gotta Have It and Do the Right Thing, to him to be on the same vibe, same wavelength with Spike Lee is actually something. Now, Monique 69 Ways Johnson said in the chat that Original Gangster movie has some lead actors from the blaxploitation movies.
Yeah,
and she's right, because it had didn't it have Fred the Hammer Williamson, and who else was in it?
And what in the movie OG? Or are
Yeah.
we just talking about just original gangster movies in general, just as a blatant
No,
thing?
the
'Cause
movie Original Gangster, which I think the movie
oh,
Original Gangster was what, like 97? It
yeah,
was
man.
late
I
90s.
IMDb that one. Yeah. I don't think and you know what? If I have seen it, I don't remember it.
Yeah, here's the
Yeah,
one thing.
96.
Yes, it did have
Jim
Pam Grier
Brown.
in it.
Oh
She was the
yeah,
mother.
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown.
Oh, I do remember
Yes.
Original Gangster. They had Pam Grier, Jim
Jim
Brown,
Brown,
and the
Fred the
dude that
Hammer
was
Williamson.
Shaft.
I
The
want to
dude that
say,
was Shaft.
yeah, Robert Roundtree. Did it
Fred
have? I don't
Williamson,
know.
I think. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
Pam
Um,
Grier. Yeah, I gotta go
and
back and watch that
here,
again.
here's the one thing
Ron O'Neal was in
that
it too.
threw that threw me off about Original Gangsters, and I know you're gonna laugh at this too.
Okay,
The
what's up?
fact that they had the co-head or whatever, the co-leader of the bad gang of black dudes
Yeah.
was old dude that played Braxton on the Jamie Foxx show.
Oh yeah, light skinned dude, right?
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah. I
what?
can't think of that dude's name to save my life. Yeah, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I just remember his name from the show, Braxton P. Hartnebread.
Yes, yes. Where did he go? He just kind of disappeared. Christopher B. Duncan. That's who that dude's
Yes,
name
that
is.
that is his name. And here's the thing,
Yeah,
though.
he played Spyro.
Yeah, but it was hard for him because he really, after Jamie Foxx, he really did get typecast, and he was able to do more. But after Jamie Foxx, it's almost like Alfonso Ribeiro. You can't see them as anything else. Like he's forever typecast as Carlton. I don't care what he does. He's Carlton. You know, Christopher B. Duncan's typecast. He's forever. You know. All right, so as it turns out, it looks like we had just a bit of technical difficulty. So you can see that, I'm over here breakdancing and Centel is froze up. He's y'all didn't know that we so fired with it that he's doing a mannequin challenge. Y'all didn't even know that. Yeah, and you're absolutely right that that Christopher B. Duncan was in this last season of BMF. And he was actually really, really good. He was the one girl's mom, the one girl's dad, where he was a police officer. He was a crooked police officer, and then he left policing and just became a full out drug dealer. And it worked. He was convincing in that role. Ah, yeah. Here's another one too. Steve Urkel, Jaleel White is kind of forever typecast, and it's hard for him. Yeah, Monique, I do have to agree with you. I think that they wrote his character wrong. And we're talking about Christopher B. Duncan on BMF, and I think that they should have gave him more. Like they played him to the background, and really didn't give enough for him to do. And all the way that until he got busted at the end of the season with his daughter, and it's just like they gave the daughter crazy amount of work in the show, and I just think they should have got more out of him because he's a strong enough actor that he could have pulled it off. Jamie Foxx gets all the credit for the Jamie Foxx show, but Christopher P. Duncan really helped make that show. The dynamic, the chemistry between the two of them was spot on. My brother, once again, he's chatting me on my phone. So he said that they had to get that Bill Cosby and other. Hey, wait a minute. He's here. There he is. All right, come on.
Zoom crashed my system. So my bad. So what are we
That's all right. No, we were just talking about Christopher P. Duncan. He was on the latest episode, the latest season of BMF. And he was strong.
You like BMF? I can't lie,
actually.
man. I really like the first season. I haven't seen anything but the first season, but I really liked BMF.
No, this current season is actually was actually pretty good.
Okay, all right, my bad. I'm taking you off with your beaten path. Go ahead, brother. Let me sit back and watch you cook.
No, he said, let him cook.
Yeah.
No, my brother's chatting me up, and he said so. When we were talking about Bill Cosby coming in and providing funding for Spike Lee's School Days, and
Okay.
and you were talking about some of the other celebrities at the time,
Yeah.
Spike, Oprah, or whatever.
I want to say he
That
even
put
got
some
help from
money.
Denzel too, a little bit. Like Denzel wasn't even like making big money at the time. He was still relatively right off of his he was like on a nighttime drama show. I forgot the name of it. But
Hmm.
anyways, yeah.
And and the thing is, there's a lot of big celebrities who have done stuff like that we don't know. Stuff came out after they passed. After Prince passed, you found out how much he did
Yeah.
in the community and stuff like that. Michael Jordan has been known to do a lot of stuff behind the scenes or whatever.
Yeah.
My
MJ is
brother said
fascinating
that.
because he got hated on so much. And then now that we're finding out, 20 years after he's retired, of all the stuff that he's done in the past, like on the low.
Hmm.
Because he caught some serious flack from the community. Because remember he made that one comment. It was people were asking him,
Republicans spend money too.
Republicans buy Jordans too. Yeah. And then the community was like, word, you doing that?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though, he wasn't wrong.
No,
He
I
was.
mean, from a business standpoint, he's spot on. From a business standpoint, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the problem with, what I'm saying, fame and celebrity and money. And once you're at a certain tier of
Yeah.
money, it's hard to see things in black and white.
Yeah.
Because you see, I'm trying to be rich,
Yeah.
trying to go back being poor, and poor is not the move.
Nah.
I mean, I get it. It was the wrong comment to see,
The timing was
everybody
really bad.
buys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was you know, unfortunately, what we do is, you hear any little bit of a rumor or whatever, and you run with it. So there was
Mhm.
a white gentleman also named Michael Jordan. Before we even could fathom that there was somebody else named Michael Jordan, like Michael B. Jordan. You know, I actually know a cat, and then you might know him too. Working out of Atlanta, doing some great work. He's a journalist and things like that behind the scenes.
Yes,
He
I do
goes by
know
Mike
him.
Jordan. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he had the same
Incredible
problem.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
So
Um,
go ahead, finish your thought.
no, so it's just one of those things that where my brother was saying that Bill, gave him a blank check.
Mm.
Go do what you want to do. And I think part of that too is, when School Days came out, I
Mhm.
don't know how much influence or it did or didn't have, especially along the lines of, because it came out right around the same time that Cosby rolled out A Different World.
Yeah, it was around that
So
time. Yeah.
so to have two positive representations of
Mm.
HBCUs, um, and even though he didn't go about it the same way that Cosby was going to go about it, the fact that he was willing to say, you know what, two different representations of HBCUs and the power of higher education for us by us, I think that's fantastic or whatever.
Yeah.
It's one of those things too that I love School Days, and it really got me more interested in Greek life.
Mhm.
um and and I loved A Different World as a program. um but things went a different way for me, and I didn't end up at a HBCU, and it was always one of those things. Now that I look back on it, it's like, damn, I wish I did go to a HBCU.
I mean,
It is what it is.
I'm always gonna shout from the mountaintops for HBCUs, but hey, you matriculate where you matriculate. Hey, you still was out there getting it, so don't sweat that. Um, yeah, I think about Bill Cosby a lot, and it's unfair to talk about black cinema and to exclude him because of his past transgressions, right? So I want everybody to just take a moment, take a breath. Bill did a horrible thing. But when it comes to the uplifting of the community in cinema and television, he's a legendary figure. Like legendary. He's employed a tremendous amount of people towards the culture, funded a tremendous amount of people towards the culture in cinema and television and in education. as well. He's kind of like the reverse of Michael Jordan. Like Michael Jordan kind of like, caught some heck in the beginning. And then, he's on his redemption tour now. Whereas, Bill you can't even say his name without people start sucking teeth. But he really shaped a large part of my cultural psyche, if that makes sense. Like, people want to downplay the Cosby Show in a different world, but it had a big influence. I mean, also Rap City did too. but I'm just saying, I just feel that, we shouldn't put Bill in some box and forget about him. I feel like he should still be recognized for the things that he's done in the past, in the 80s and the 90s. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the Ultimate TV says Sammy Davis Jr. got roasted by the community too, and it's unfortunate because you're absolutely right. Like, if you remove the person and his transgressions from what he provided, listen, the Cosby Show and A Different World were pivotal to me, and whether we know it or not, it did play a huge part in our psyche, because up until then, you just had really the Jeffersons.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted to move up to the east side, to apartment in the sky, and to see, what I'm saying, a black man who owned his own business. He had attained some riches, some wealth, moved up into a better neighborhood or whatever, and then still, had no problem telling the white man like it is, telling him off and being, what I'm saying, we love George Jefferson and just, his little bitty self. We love that, and then not only that, George Jefferson, and then the dynamic of smart face Marley Gibbs as as the maid, this black man that can afford his own maid. He's like, he's doing it. Yeah. But when Cosby came along, and you talking about they owned a brownstone, they owned a house, and and we talk about even 1980s real estate in New York City was astronomical. Yeah. And they owned a house. His business was downstairs. Remember his business? Was he a gynecologist?
No, he was the doctor that births babies. I forgot the name of that specific trend.
So it just was like a pediatric, some sort of pediatric doctor, whatever. Yeah, he wasn't a gynecologist. Yeah, yes, he birthed the babies.
I know the chat's probably shaking their head like y'all don't know the name of that. I can't think of the name of it. Obstetricianist, I think maybe.
That's what it is.
Think of what it was? Yeah.
I know it was attrition.
Yeah.
I knew it was attrition. And I knew that he dealt, and because my memory is a little hazy right now. I'm of advanced age. I knew that he dealt with women all the time, but that's right, he did. He birthed babies. But then his wife is an attorney. So we have two professionals, especially at a time when most mainstream media would tell us what we couldn't do. They put a show on primetime TV that told us and showed us what we could do. And that meant something. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. You can be professionals and have this and have that. And not only that, they had a lot of problems in their household too, but they could deal with them and be done with it in a half an hour. Listen, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Send your daughter off to college, to HBCU, where you done paid her tuition out your pocket and gave her own show. Yeah, like straight cash, B. Pay cash. You don't need no loans around here, son.
Yo, shout out to Monica again, who said, Monique said, I can give you praise for your talent and work, but I will check for your transgressions. And that's fair. I certainly don't think anybody should be like, pretend like it didn't happen.
Yeah,
but,
you don't.
But also, let's not forget the contributions too as well, because all those out of those shows that you were naming, you're naming like the Jeffersons, and Good Times, and oh my God, I can't think of the other one that came out around the time. It'll come to me a little bit, but a lot of those black shows were written by white writers. That's why they felt, if you look at them today, they seem a little off. I think like Good Times is is an example. I think like the predominant, the most of the writers and the lead writers are like white. Same with like the Jeffersons. But then here's a tie-in. There was an 80s show that I loved. I had a favorite uncle, my Uncle Richard, God rest his soul, the best dude ever. He introduced me to a world of blackness that my little young mind was not ready for. And I remember saying, like, when we were watching the show, when Red Fox popped up, I was like, when I was a kid, I used to sneak in the garage and listen to my uncle's Red Fox albums back when they had comedy albums back in the day. And just die laughing, not really knowing what I'm laughing at because I was still a little too young to kind of get it. But it was his delivery that was just out of this world. I'm saying that how that ties in is because Red Fox created to me, which is one of the funniest sitcoms I've seen at the time, in Sanford and Son. And at the time, I want to say he was one of the very first shows. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I believe it was one of the first shows that had like a mostly black writing staff. And he was, yeah, it was like a real groundbreaking show. I want to say it was one of the very first black shows to like be seriously considered for like Emmys too at that time. And Red was kind of like, he was at his peak as far as white audiences were concerned. Red had been doing his thing since the 60s. True story. You know, he used to run with Malcolm X too, in case you didn't know. They used to work together as short order cooks.
And Detroit Reds.
Yeah, Detroit Red, yeah. But so the black community had known about Red Fox for a minute, but it wasn't until he did Sanford and Son until he started becoming a little bit more mainstream. And when we do finally see him in Harlem Nights, his career has been golden era. Like his golden era, like you got to keep in mind, Red is before Richard. Like if we're talking about like hierarchy, so I guess what I'm saying is
Richard credited Red as one of his influences.
Yeah. That's why, you know, Harlem Nights is such, you know, you got 4 generations of actors. You got Red, then you got Richard, you got Eddie, who was on top at that time, and then you had the upcoming Robin Harris, who was gonna represent like the newer generation at the time, unfortunately before his untimely passing. I don't know. And I challenge the chat. What other project can you think of that has come close to replicating that? You know, that type of generational involvement when it comes to one single project. And what's crazy is how is that Eddie's first and only directorial debut? That's wild to me. But all right, let me let the mic go because I'm taking over too much, man. Go for it.
But you know, the thing about it too is, you know what I'm saying, there's a thing about hubris too, like, you know. The way that the critics tore that movie apart.
Yeah.
And, you know, like you said, you can go on IMDb right now. What's it, 6.1 or something?
Yeah, it's got like a 6.1. What kind of?
And it did not kill. And it did not kill in the box office. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, in the back of his mind, Eddie was like, you know, maybe they're not feeling me like that. You know, if you're used to being a success and you fail at something, you know, even though to us it's not a failure and it's done nothing but gain steam and get better and more revered over the years. But at the time when it came out, it was considered a failure. You know, that particular movie, because the critics didn't get it. They didn't get it.
That is wild. And it just aged so well, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And you also have to keep in mind, I think you're absolutely right regarding like Eddie had written the formula. He was the first Will Smith, if we're being honest. He was the first black superstar. And then Will took it and ran with it to a whole other level. So if you're making movies that are running gangbusters, you know, just like nonstop, just breaking the banks, blockbuster after blockbuster, and then you on your own personal project, you know, it misses because, you know, I'm willing to bet it had something to do with promotion. I'm willing to bet it had to, because there was too many black faces. I think that's probably what it was. But then again, Eddie came back and did it again. He was like, you know what? I'll be damned if I'm gonna not be on a show that's full of black faces, because he knocked Coming to America clear out the park. Clear out the park. Be it.
Yeah, but there's also something to be said about how you're represented. Like the fact that, and if you just go back and look at the plot of the movie.
Okay.
So 1920s or
Mm-hmm.
1930s, 1920s Harlem, you had a black, not even, I guess, a gangster or whatever, but not really, you know what I'm saying, a entrepreneur, a businessman in Sweet Sugar Ray. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he's got his son Quick working for him, and
Yep.
they are bosses in their own right. So not only are they able to tell off and get over on on Bugsy Calhoun, the biggest gangster, but the
Mm.
police, and they're able to do things that they way. This
Yeah.
is a movie that came out in the 80s. Did it come out in the 80s?
Yeah.
It's 89, right?
Yeah. 89. Yeah.
Of course, the critics didn't get it because to see something like that, it was like, oh, that's bullshit. Like that couldn't happen, and it did happen. I mean, even to the point where we were doing it so big and so well that all over the country, they started bombing and firebombing and massacring people in all of these areas where we were doing well. You know, the most famous being in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the
Mm.
the massacre of Black Wall Street.
Right. Right.
But that was not an isolated incident. Um, and that's why a lot of people don't know their history, or they do know and they don't care. That's not the type of image that they wanted to portray of
Mm.
us. They they we don't get it. But coming to America,
Mm-hmm.
so you got this African prince, and we don't know and don't care about what they're doing over there. And he comes to America to go to the hood and find him a little boo, and somebody is they're like, oh yes, this resonates with us. Yes, this
Mm.
African fish out of water story. Yeah, we get that.
And
We
just
get it all
so
day
it got a
long. Yeah.
7.1 on IMDb. So it still was horribly underrated. Horribly under. Coming to
Horribly.
America is a 9 out of 10. Listen, that is an insult. A 7? And normally 7s are good on IMDb. You kind of doing big things if you do like a 7 up. But for that movie, if it's anything less than a 9, y'all need to get your head checked.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, so my brother is blowing my phone up, which
jump
is
in the
funny.
chat, man. It's all good.
Yeah,
Go and
so
show
he
your
said,
face in the chat.
so he was talking about like Red Fox. One of the ways too, because Red Fox still being who he was as a
Mhm.
person,
Yeah.
he was damn near defiant until the end.
Mhm.
And one of the easiest and best ways to take down a black celebrity is to stick the IRS on him.
Oh,
And
he got Wesley. I didn't know that.
yes, and he was, and you talk
He
about
got
he's of
sniped.
advanced age. He's of
Yeah.
advanced age, and they talk about he owes back taxes, and they was gonna lock. And Eddie Murphy wrote Harlem Nights to pay, you know what I'm saying, and gave Red Fox a prominent role to pay off his taxes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my brother said he said something that is very poignant. He's right. Eddie Murphy, you're talking about not only Harlem Nights, coming to America, and really one of the reasons for coming to America, coming off of 48 Hours and Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy had to change because now Eddie Murphy has kids and they're getting older. So the whole kind of transition in, am I still trying to be Tom Cruise, or am I trying to do the Ice Cube, kind of slip into more family friendly stuff? And that's when he started churning out some stinkers. He's Pluto Nash, and
Ooh, we don't talk about Pluto Nash.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Pluto. That would be a fun one, just for a drinking a drinking movie night to just clown.
Man, I'd be drunk in the first 5 minutes. I don't even drink, dog. Like I'd be like, man, I might just get drunk just for the hell of it, so I don't have to watch the rest of the movie. Like, how was it? It was good.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a terrible movie.
Yeah.
My brother just said, another family friendly one, but actually they kind of hit. It resonated for whatever reason. When he remade Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah.
But
he was
that's the
coming off the
problem.
heels of like Mulan off of that, right? Like he kind of reinvented himself that he could be a talent for kids. Like he could get like PG money. And when he did Mulan, that was like his first, I think, if I remember, I think it was like his first big voiceover. And when you played the Little Dragon, that knocked it out the park. And then like immediately, like right after, like Doolittle came, and then he was on
Yeah.
that kids movie
And
kick for a while.
then he doubled down real tough and Donkey and Shrek, and he's
Oh
off
yeah,
the races.
it was.
He's
I
off
think
to the
that's
races.
actually what saved. If there is a saving of his career, you know, it was Shrek, because everything else was stinkers all up until then. So
yeah, as a matter of fact, when he made his resurgence, when he came back, he still put out some stinkers, like trying to find his way. What was that one where he was like a guru and he was hanging out with a tree and something like?
I can't even think of the name of it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't think of the
Exactly.
name of it. You know what? I do
Yeah, he
remember
put
him.
out.
I know we're going with Eddie's career. You know how so let's look at like Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker's trajectory like really super blew up when he did Rush Hour, right? I feel like Eddie tried to do the same thing when he did that joint, the spy movie with the dude with the broken nose. That always looks like he's got a broken nose. Owen Wilson. Yeah, I forgot the name of it. Something Super Spy or something like that.
Yeah. I can't. I think it was just called Spy. I can't
Yeah.
stand it, dude.
Yeah, but it didn't hit like Chris Tucker's. You know, it was like because if you think about it, like Eddie had the formula. Like you could put all you need to do is somebody half decent to just kind of like feed him lines and let Eddie run. You know, but Chris Tucker took that joint and was like, "No, thanks, Eddie. I appreciate that." And yeah,
but here's a thing too. You know what I'm saying? Movie making and the wants of the public in general had changed in the 10 years since, Beverly Hills Cop and Rush Hour.
Right.
It had changed. And not only that, you cannot do, probably really the only people that kind of defy logic is, for whatever reason, Tom Cruise is 17,000 years old and he's still doing his own stunts, jumping off buildings and out of airplanes and whatever.
Dude's a vampire, man.
Yeah, and you can tell he's an older guy still doing what he does or whatever. Yeah, it's not like the first Mission Impossible movie at all.
No.
But like you can even tell from somebody who was a bona fide action star, you can even tell the difference in Independence Day Will Smith to Bad Boys 4 Will Smith.
Oh yeah, it's a big difference,
not even
man.
the same dude.
Woo! Hey, anybody in the chat, have y'all watched Bad Boys 4? I know me and Rakai have. And you want to talk about a movie that makes you feel old when you see the aging of your stars. Wow, man! I was like, dang, we getting up there, fella. Will look like he could be undefeated for a while. I don't know, man. Bad Boys and poor Martin Lawrence. Golly.
Right.
Man.
Yeah. But I will say that I really enjoyed Bad Boys 4. I thought it was one of the better entries to the franchise, Here's the thing. My brother just said something too that makes sense about why Tom Cruise is still bankable. He said because a lot of white people still go to the cinemas. It's still they turn out for the Mission Impossible movies. I mean, if it wasn't for the last stinker, for real, why is Stallone still making expendable movies? Because people still showed up. And now we got another star who's aging and won't give it up, and Vin Diesel's trying to crank out. He's cranking out the last Fast and Furious movie. 20 plus years later. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah. Hey, and what was the purpose of releasing a new Beverly Hills Cop? The Ultimate TV said that in the chat, and
money.
It's yes,
straight cash, homie, for Netflix. That's a great movie. It's going straight to Netflix, right? It's not coming to theaters.
Yes,
right?
Netflix.
It's like straight to Netflix. That's a great platform for that.
Here's the thing, though, because Eddie Murphy has seen a resurgence, and what people don't understand is that even though culturally we didn't like Coming to America 2 or whatever, it did something. It hit with Caucasians.
Well, I mean, we watched the spectacle too.
with us culturally though, for those that watched it, um, uh, I just had it. My Name is Dolomite.
Which was great. Oh, what a great movie! Did you like that?
That was great. I thought it was fantastic.
Okay. I was
And
wondering. Yeah, man. I was
I
shocked at
am
how
a
good that
Rudy
was.
Ray Moore fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like Red Fox back in the day, like I got introduced to Rudy Ray Moore on albums, and I was like, that was that was auditory prawn hub. Like, what am I listening to? Like, this is not a whoa. So it was way different.
Yeah. Well,
And
and he did that one. Didn't Eddie's been nominated for an Oscar. If I remember, he did was it Dreamgirls? I think what it was.
Dreamgirls, which he was fantastic in.
Yeah, he was nominated. He's never won, but I know he's been nominated.
And the thing is, and it's one of those things too, is like because for Eddie, in Dreamgirls, he was not a comedian. He was not his normal comedic self. He was not a comedian. He wasn't even really playing comedic in My Name is Dolomite.
So yeah, I think you're more right. Yeah.
No, because he kind of stayed true to the script and trying to tell in a way, with creative license on how Dolomite made the movie, and him playing the titular part. It's a weird word. And not only that, come on now, just for those who don't know, because of just the same thing that Eddie did for Red Fox and Harlem Nights, he did the exact same thing. My Name is Dolomite for Wesley Snipes.
Right. That was kind of like Wesley's big comeback. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, because he was like out the country, right? Like he was somewhere in one of them Eastern Bloc countries trying to keep from paying Uncle Phil.
And then Wesley he did do some jail time, but Wesley got that, and then off the strength of that, I think he got that Expendables 3 or something with Stallone, because he was a action star. Again.
He's probably one of the greatest black action stars of the 90s. I can't think of anybody bigger than him.
You talk action star, yes, but to me too, as somebody to get on screen, and my other love of karate movies, martial arts movies.
Yeah.
Hey, to me, Wesley's up there. You talking about Jim Kelly, Jim Kelly, Michael Jai White, Wesley Snipes, they up there for me.
There was a time when Wesley couldn't miss, man. And then it just kind of just went away. His last big super big one that he produced was Blade, but he had so many super bangers. Before then, Demolition Man, White Man Can't Jump, New Jack City.
Man, come on right now,
Jungle Fever.
Hey. He was Passenger 57.
Passenger 57. Always bet on black. Yo, everything you just said, man. Even the movie you had recommended that I haven't seen in ages, Sugar Hill. I can never watch that.
Man. Hey, Sugar Hill is a good one. Too. Him and Michael Wright.
Michael
Wright. Eddie Kane Jr.
Yeah, Sugar Hill, right?
Eddie Kane Jr. was his brother, and he played Romello, which I always liked that movie. It was a cool ass name, remind me of my brother's name. So, hey, listen, that right there too. That is a no in black, and not in black cinema, in black culture.
Which one?
This right here, the Ultimate TV set.
Are we gonna talk about the whole black man address thing?
Tu Wong Fu, John Leguizamo, Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes. And just for the record, Wesley Snipes had to have been one of the ugliest women. I was like, that brother should have called RuPaul or somebody and consulted with somebody, because that was horrible.
Yeah, I think of the.
And the crazy thing is, only Wesley Snipes got the vitriol and hate. Like, nobody said anything to Patrick Swayze and John Leguizamo. Didn't question their sexuality. None of that.
Well,
Like,
that goes back to
they
the
made
whole
it
black
seem
men
like
in the dress
after that,
argument.
they made it seem like after he took that role, for whatever reason he took that role, it's like, oh, expect to see Wesley at all the Diddy parties now, because you got to say no to Diddy. You got to say no.
Just don't do it. Don't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Don't
um,
do it.
yeah, that was tough because that stigma, it's still in Black Hollywood, the stigma. I really don't even have an opinion on it, honestly, on the whole thing, but I do know it is brought up constantly. Let me see. What was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh man, we were talking about like black projects in cinema that don't get the necessary press that they deserve. It may fall
Mm-hmm.
flat as a result of it. There's a project that Don Cheadle's got out right now that he produced. It's on Apple TV. Talks about Huey P. Newton and the Panthers. And it's called The Big Cigar.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it at all.
And
it's
they're not going to talk about it
because of the subject matter, right? Yeah. I mean, you're talking about Black Panthers and the stigma that the Black Panthers have. Wow.
I actually a few days ago, just because I don't know what I was going through, I watched Judas and the Black Messiah.
I liked it. How'd you feel?
Yeah. Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield.
Get Daniel Kaluuya. I know he won the Oscar for it, but there's so many black actors in California. But he didn't give a stand-up job. I'm just saying that part. I'm like, you had to really go all the way to England to get somebody.
I mean,
he did an amazing job though, and deserved that.
Well, and part of it too is name recognition. You know what I'm saying? Because once you got a part and you really stuck out, they gonna keep going back to that well. I mean, you got from Idris and Daniel Kaluuya, and there's a bunch of brothers.
Damson Idris, and they're all killers. That's the thing. It's like you want to be mad, but they're killers. Like they're assassins. They show up and knock the role clear out the park. So you're sitting there, you're like, y'all did that.
not only that, they show up and do it so well that when you see an interview with them and they're speaking in their natural British accent, you are thrown off. You're like, wait, what the hell?
Like, what?
That brother's British?
I didn't know that.
Shut up. I didn't know that. Yeah, you thrown off.
Listen,
they said that about Damson Idris. Like, hey, he was Franklin Saint. You couldn't tell me that brother wasn't from South Central or Compton somewhere.
Yeah, I think he's probably one of the best portrayals of that story since golly, probably since The Wire.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, let me know in the chat if you think it's something that was a better performance than Snowfall for Urban Street Drama Tales. And please don't go to the 50 verse. Don't do that. And I like the 50 verse, but I'm talking about quality drama. I love the 50 verse. I'm glad it's here.
I do. I like the power verse too.
Yeah, the power verse is entertaining as hell, but there's a difference in the chops. There's a difference in the chops of the actors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The Ultimate TV said they even went to London to get, and I can't remember that brother's name right now.
Oh,
Bob Marley.
Yeah. One Love, I think was the name of the movie. I think that was the name of it. Yeah. And then that dude is a beast too. That's what I'm talking about. Like
that dude played Malcolm X. What was that? What was that movie? The
something in Miami, 4 Nights in Miami or something like that.
One Night in Miami.
One Night in Miami. Yeah. And killed it. Oh man, if y'all haven't seen One Night in Miami, Kingsley Benadir, that's his name.
Yes, it is.
That is a movie that does not get enough attention. It's the story of Muhammad Ali, Sam Cooke, Malcolm X. There's somebody else. There's a fourth. I can't think who the other one is. Jim Brown. Jim Brown.
Yeah,
Jim Brown. And you want to just talk about it felt like it could have been a stage play, right? Because there's not a lot of scenes. And it's just actors going toe to toe with each other, just bringing it scene at knockout scenes after knockout scenes. The dude that plays Sam Cooke did a really good job too, man. I
That's
can't think of his name. I can't think
why
of his
can I
name.
think of? See, and
Yeah.
you know, I'm good for that too. And
Yeah. But I guess I'm saying just do that. Actually, that's one of the first movies I've seen of the guy that played Jim Brown, Aldous Hodge.
Leslie, I won't say Leslie.
Oh,
It's not Leslie Odom.
Leslie Odom Jr. Leslie Odom Jr.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
he killed Sam Cooke, and the dude that played Jim Brown, who I think is probably up next for Black superstardom, Aldous Hodge. He's just got this look about him. He was Hawkman in Black Adam.
Aldous Hodge is nominated for a lot of stuff, and his name is in concert circles because he's a solid actor.
Yeah,
The
that
funny
dude
thing
go.
about that is
Yeah.
the funny thing about that. One of my favorite Aldous Hodge roles.
Mm-hmm.
He was in a show called "What is wrong with me today?" Like,
Yeah, it's because we're under the spotlight. That's why. Normally you be rattling them off, man.
God, see, and I love this show.
show.
Where he was basically he was a computer hacker. It was a little God, see, now I'm angry with myself right
It's
now.
all good. But yeah, man. So how do you feel about the state of Black cinema? Let's change gears a little bit. How do you feel about the modern day state of Black cinema? We got and TV. Let's include TV as well, because we got some killer Black female producers that are just kicking ass and taking names. Hold on, let me shut up. What are your thoughts?
Okay. It's thank you so much, Monique 69. That was going to kill me. Mm-hmm. I love Leverage. Even the reboot where they brought back Leverage on free TV or whatever, Freevee or whatever. I love that show. You know, Timothy Hutton was all right, but really the point of watching that show to me was Aldous Hodge. He was standout. State of Black TV. It's funny because really Black TV is Powerverse, Lena Waithe,
Lena,
Issa Rae,
Shonda.
Like, you know, now, Shonda. I mean, but I don't know, because I think with Shonda, it is one of those things is where we get representation, but I don't think even Shonda's is not really viewed as Black TV like that. Like
the way they kicked her off ABC. The way they kicked her. Oh no, she quit ABC. If I remember, she kicked off. She quit.
And so I was talking to Chuck earlier. Shout out to my brother Chuck Babb, owner of the Geekish Network.
Yep.
So I was talking to him earlier, and I was talking about this through line of where everything they make for Black cinema is gangster movies or what have you. And one of the reasons that he said that things are that way is because he said, you know, a lot of times he said, I was talking about what we had talked about previously, where since, you know, living single and girlfriends, stuff like that, there haven't been any really positive Black shows that did not show on some level gangsterism, drug dealing, whatever, as far as relating to Black culture until Blackish and Grownish, which, you know, 2 shows by Kenya Barris. But ABC, who was in with Disney, who had Hulu, believed in that show so little. The only reason it stayed on TV, and this is what Chuck said, only reason it stayed on TV is because the actors, Anthony Anderson, you know, all of them agreed to take a pay cut. They were not getting paid that Friends kind of money. Even when the show was up there, they took a pay cut to keep the show on. As a matter of fact, Kenya Barris, you know, Kenya Barris got shows for days, and he had other stuff, and still no one would take a meeting with him, and that's why he took the deal. He went just like Shonda. Even Shonda, with the success of not only Grey's Anatomy, which
Yeah,
still
which is
on,
on like
with
season 19 or
season
something like that.
97.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
uh,
they're like just
you
about to
know,
crack 20 years.
and she had Scandal. She had How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah.
Still, she went and did the same thing Kenya Barris did and took the deal with Netflix to be
Mhm.
able to do things her way and the way she wanted them, put the people she wanted to put in the writers' room, the
Mhm.
directors, and all that to have more control over our own product.
Right.
Because regardless of what they tell us, yes, we will show up, and we do. Because to that point, there was a lot of weird stuff going on, but Scandal and even How to Get Away with Murder weren't gangster things. They dealt with some gangster stuff in politics, or
Mhm.
whatever, and that's even more shady than The Godfather and all that. But
Yeah. Well, I feel
so
like Shonda's got a knack of telling the black story in white culture. She doesn't.
yeah,
A lot of her stories are based on that. Like they're not like majority black casts,
hmm
But the central person that we're looking, our central antagonist, protagonist, is typically a woman of color, and how they navigate kind of like that space. Whereas like Kenya Barris, he hits you over the head with some blackness and be like, nah. Same with Issa Rae. Issa Rae is like, you gonna see some black shit.
hmm yeah.
and maybe and maybe there's that's the reason why Shonda was able to maneuver a little bit differently than some other typical black producers, because it it included the white gaze. It made sure that they weren't left out of the equation, just because the rule. If there's more than two of us in a room, they get worried. So I feel like that's what's happening. 50, as much as I want to give 50 grief, 50 knows how to navigate these waters, man. Like between BMF, Power Books 1 through 4, I think that's what it is.
hmm
No, that dude is he's doing it without it necessarily being the black experience through white culture. It's just black. It's just
but
it's my brothers
but
and sisters
the
out there
thing
doing
about
their thing.
50 is one of those people that much the same as different, but the same as like Jay-Z. As
Yeah,
far as navigating these different hallways,
yeah,
he came up in a different way, and he looks at it in a completely different way. The thing is, when power walks in the room, you know how to negotiate from a position of strength or weakness. And a
okay,
lot of times in the black culture, we end up navigating from a position of weakness. You go to the car dealership and you pray that the credit report is going to come back and that you can get the car, and they'll give you some astronomical price or astronomical, crazy interest rate or whatever. But you like, yeah, I got the car. It don't matter, I'll pay a
right,
little bit more. And you're not paying what, and the same thing with housing. And we can go into a lot of that on how they purposely keep us out and away from wealth. I mean, just the way they use life insurance, that's a whole different animal, a whole different beast. But 50 can navigate those waters partly because he has his own money and he doesn't care. And he may not have that kind of money, but he knows where to go get the money.
yeah.
And that's a whole different thing. Um, one, it's funny too, because my brother, again, still blowing me up. Uh, he just chastised me for my brain not working and not knowing all the actors and stuff. He was talking about Tyler Perry.
Yeah,
We've not really talked about Tyler Perry, and even though I'm not a fan of Tyler Perry like that, I cannot knock the brother's
you
hustle when it comes
cannot
to
knock his
business.
hustle. You
That
can't
brother
knock his
he bought
hustle.
an army base and made an
Yeah, man.
entire studio like Hollywood
Yes.
South. You know,
Yeah, man.
um, and
Yeah.
now
Not,
50 Cent has done the same thing in Shreveport or Baton Rouge, somewhere in
yeah.
Louisiana. Bought an entire film studio to move a lot of his productions down there for certain things or whatever, and now do kind of the same thing that Tyler Perry is doing. Major Hollywood movies and stuff come and
Yeah.
rent, use Tyler Perry spaces to shoot in Atlanta
Yeah, they're
or
shooting
whatever.
that big $350 million budget Superman on Tyler Perry Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
So
only that, you know, the
that should
crazy
tell you
thing is
something.
that yeah, they're shooting part of it in Tyler Perry Studios, and they're shooting part of that in around my way, you know. So
Mm,
Cincinnati, different parts of Ohio, they're
yeah.
shooting. I guess that's supposed to be Kansas.
Yeah. I
So
can
you
see that.
know, they're shooting that. So the Ultimate
Uh,
TV says, remember, they now have a diversity equity clause in Hollywood. So the project is too black, the GP will bail. Yeah,
yeah,
and
I can believe that.
that that right there, that's called the Black Panther effect.
Mm. Even though
That is
Coogler
the
made
black.
all that money, Coogler made all that money for Marvel, all that money off that movie, and they going, mm, mm, okay.
Yeah, but still, but that's the thing though. He made all that money for Marvel, and all the people that wanted to have their hands in it because it was a Marvel product didn't get to make. You know, he went over $1 billion, and all the people is like producers and all the people that normally get in on them projects. I was like, wait, we didn't get any of that money because he brought in his own writers, he brought in his own people, and how dare they get some of that money that should went to
the
us?
the
No,
audacity.
we'll continue to turn out some terrible stuff
Mm.
as long as we get paid, as long as the checks cash, you know. And they did kind of the same thing. My brother was talking about Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele is
Yeah,
on a tear
but
right now.
Jordan Peele is a different beast, and I love him for it. Jordan Peele doesn't go the path of anybody. He does like he right now he's working with Hideo Kojima, the guy that did Metal Gear.
Yeah, Hideo
They're working on
Kojima.
it
Yeah,
Hideo Kojima. You know, he's doing like some really unorthodox stuff, and I think that could be the blueprint for content of color for people that are in in their own spaces, be it projects for women, projects of people with different sexual orientations, black projects. I think you're going to have to be unorthodox. You're going to have to come to a space where you have to be like 50 and have the money straight up. Come to other spaces where access is a lot easier to get, such as like formats like YouTube, podcasting formats, Netflix. But the traditional route, like the ABC, get the deal. That them days is a wrap if you're trying to have like diversity, especially now. And Jordan Peele marches to the beat of his heart. You know, he
mm-hmm.
works with the most interesting. You know, another person, another black creator who I think does that is Antoine Fuqua. Brilliant black director
Yeah,
who does not get enough credit. Does not. That dude
he does not.
is a beast. But you know, you don't hear his name a lot in a lot of black circles because he moves differently. You know,
Yeah,
he moves in a space that can. He's like, I have this idea and I need to get it made, and I can't go through the normal channels because every channel you go through is going to have some BS. Even if you go to black channels, it's going to be some. It's going to be something. It's going to be gatekeepers no
yeah.
matter where you go. But they find their own channels. Old girl that made the elementary school TV
Abbott
show,
Elementary.
Abbott Elementary. She was doing, you know, YouTube projects before she got found, and then you know she could kind of like, you know, like she her first year she was a producer on Abbott, wasn't she? Like it wasn't like
Yeah,
like she came out the gates with it, but it goes back to what you were saying. You have to have power in the conversation before the conversation even starts.
yeah. A lot of that is being able to get at the table. Can you get to the table? And especially, you know, kind of negotiate and make your own way.
Quinta Brunson, that's her name. Sorry.
Yeah, Quentin Brunson.
Yes. God, man, her hustle.
And but anytime you pull back the curtain, they expose you and they'll find a way to take you down. Look at Dave Chappelle.
Mm.
Dave Chappelle was on a tear with the Chappelle Show, and he said when he felt like they wanted to change his writing room and change the way that he and Neil were writing things, which is always so interesting to me. You get this highly acclaimed show that's based on your writing, your comedy, and then somebody else who doesn't do that comes in and now all of a sudden they know better than you. You know, I'm not a comedian. I don't know this, but I know TV. So here's how we need to change your scripts, and here's how we need to do this. You know, and he said, like, when he was making it, he said, he couldn't tell anymore. Are they laughing with me or at me.
At
And he
me.
said like some of the things that he would say, like they laughs was a little bit too big, and he was like, yeah, and and then it was easy for us as a community, not me personally, but us as a community to turn on him. How could that brother walk away from $50 million? You got
Yeah,
$50 million on the
everybody
table.
said that too.
You
And
you
yeah,
take the check and do whatever, and he would not do it. And he went to Africa or whatever to get his head straight and to, what I'm saying, figure out, what was his next move. And the tabloids couldn't wait to paint him out as some crazy madman.
yeah.
And the thing is, he's not the only one. Not Eddie Murphy.
Martin
Well,
Lawrence.
Eddie Murphy had a thing where he went through something, which that may have been because didn't he have like a trans person in the car?
Yeah, he picked somebody up on Santa Monica Boulevard that was transgender
So,
at the time. Yeah.
But I think they did that to Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
Remember Martin Lawrence?
Waving
allegedly went
the
crazy,
gun.
waving a gun in the middle of an intersection or whatever.
Mariah Carey, she had her breakdown. Yeah, it's something.
Yeah,
it's something.
Ultimate TV is not wrong. Like they said, I know in that next season of Chappelle Show, they wanted, somebody they brought in a studio exec, a studio writer. They wanted to insert him on the team, and he wanted to write some skits where Dave would put on a dress, and Dave was like, "You done made that up. I'm not doing that. This is my show. I'm not doing that." And they'll be quick to point out, hey, what's wrong with it? Is it Flip Wilson and all these other people did it, and and he didn't do it. And even though I've seen a really good explanation on why he did it from Marlon Wayans, because Marlon Wayans, talked about why he did white
girls, white chicks, yeah.
And he said, it was what it was. He said, but that wasn't nobody came in and he said, he thought it was funny and he played it from the comedic standpoint or whatever. And I mean, and I guess, I thought white chicks was hilarious. So
it was during that time. It's that great time period where, if you're a Wayne, you got to figure out a way to make your own lane. And he was trying to do that. With the support of his family, but still kind of make his own lane because he was knocking out the park because what was a Scary Movie was killing.
But they got screwed out of Scary Movies. They stole Scary Movies from.
They only made the one that they actually had control over. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought this was an interesting. Question from the chat. This is coming from Thomas Rodriguez Martinez, who said, "Are you at the table?" Now I don't know if it's that.
Tomas Rodriguez Martinez. He is another faithful. Thank you, Tomas, for showing up.
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
Are you at the table, Centel? I don't know. I don't think I have a seat at the table.
I think I'm building a table. Because
listen, come
on. I think if you're a content creator in this day and age, you can't ask to sit at anybody's table because there's always it's the gatekeeper thing. But if you can build your own table, perfect example. I'm not a Kai Cenat fan. I'm not, but I respect his savvy of knowing how to market. He has the capacity to have over he had like 10,000, almost like 100,000 people on the stream at one time live.
No. So when he did that recent live stream where Kev. he had Kevin Hart and Drewski on there, and he was doing a slumber party.
Yeah,
I remember our wonderful technical producer over on the Geekers Network, Rodney. Yeah. He brought it up, and he's like, "Are y'all seeing this?" And we looked at it for a few minutes. There was one point where he had 777,000 people on a live at one time.
On a live.
And the average for that live was around 650,000.
See, those are insane numbers. To live stream that, that's insane. That's not even including the restream numbers, all the other stuff that comes in. Like,
wait.
That's
Remember,
building.
I think I told you this when he was saying, okay, wait, Rodney pulled it up and we saw like Kai Cenat stream because he was streaming on Twitch.
Yeah.
But then he was also streaming on YouTube.
On YouTube.
That's two different. That's two different incomes.
Yeah.
But not only that, there were people who were restreaming Kai's stream.
Yes.
And then like in the corner reacting, commenting. And I saw some people that had over 100,000 people who weren't watching the original stream. They're watching somebody else's version of the stream.
That part.
And that is insane. That's insane. I saw at least 4 or 5 people that were in the, not the lowest one was like at about 15,000.
Right. And that to me is building your table. You can borrow somebody's platform and then build your table on that platform. Build on a platform where you can be accepted. Twitter's a platform where you can be accepted. YouTube, Twitch, where you don't have to come hat in hand and, give the skin off your back. And then not only that, he's building like these digital streamers and digital content creators are building through selling their own products, selling their own merch, selling time, selling sponsorships. So the money is coming from 8, 9, 10 different income streams. And then you can do stuff like that and then become like Quinta Brunson and, 50 Cent, like you're talking about, once you get enough equity to kind of like support yourself. And, the type of contacts that he probably got from having Kevin Hart on his stream, arguably the most not popular, but the most lucrative black comedian of all times. I think he is. I think he's made more. I think he's made more money than any other black comedian. Like, even if you combine some numbers, like you could combine Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle's numbers, and it still wouldn't like compare to like.
That right there, just saying that is absolutely insane.
Yeah,
because
so
you would think, like,
you're
the
building
kind of
tables.
money that Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy and some of them people have made, like, it should be astronomical. I mean, and I can't knock Kevin Hart got a amazing hustle.
Yeah. And I love this new generation of black comedians. They don't do, the Chitlin circuits and the circuits where you got to play like these little smoke-filled little sets in smaller cities and like grind on the street in order to get it. They're testing their content digitally. And, and they're getting paid as they learn, to the point that you have somebody like Drewski, who's built like this insane empire. He came out of nowhere to me. Like, you asked me 5 years ago who Drewski was, I'd have looked at you crazy. I was like, where the heck did this dude come from? Same with Kai Cenat. Even 2 years ago for even Kai Cenat, but that's now, you don't have to worry about these gatekeepers. You could just do it if you have the grind, if you have the hustle. The one common denominator, all the things that we've said from all these people, their work ethic is out of this world. Kai Cenat's work ethic is crazy. Like, they just see him as just this. People see him as just this ignorant dude, doing live streams, screaming at the camera, and doing funny dances or whatever it is. But he is way deeper than that. Now, like I said, I'm not a fan of his content. It doesn't move me, but I respect how he's going about it in a way that I always pay attention. I'm like, damn, he made that move. He's doing this. This dude causes riots, man, from passing. Remember he went to London and caused riots from passing out PlayStations? Like, yeah, like that is on the strength of the sweat off his brow. You can't knock it.
Here's the interesting thing about that. Really, depending on how you look at it, they are playing the Chitlin circuits and these little, venues, but it's called Twitch and it's called Instagram and it's called because at the same time, just like anybody who wants to be a content creator, as you can see, no matter how good this particular conversation that we're having out is right now, we don't have a huge number of people watching with us right now. And that's okay, because it's at the same time, like you said, we are going to build our own table, and we might not have Kai Cenat numbers, but we're going to have very respectable numbers. I am new to this space, and I'm still learning the ropes. And I am fortunate to have a Mr. Miyagi in Centel that has helped me out, and even we could have done this particular live stream on his channel tonight, and we would have had a lot of people in here, and he chose to do it on my channel. And we didn't have as big a turnout as we would have liked, but we still have had a fantastic discussion. And we've had a good time. And I love everyone who has showed up for our discussion in here tonight. Yeah, like
day ones. I love day ones. I love day ones. This part is like Monique. I'm gonna give you a shout out because you definitely show mad love. You take time out of your day to come listen to us, and I know how important time is. So when we are on the other side, we're absolutely gonna remember your name because we're gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember we was having that discussion over Harlem Nights, and she dropped this kind of stuff. So it's one of those things to kind of like appreciate the community that's being built in the beginning. So hat tip, thank you, and of course Ultimate TV, Thomas Rodriguez, thank you as well. Michael Clare, who was in here a little bit earlier from Snooty Vegans, everybody that's been here from the giddy up, you have no idea how important that is. It really means something, like for real, as a content creator. Oh, I caught you up.
No. I'm good, man. As you can see, I've been trying to low key handle. One of my lights went out, man, so it got dark over here all of a sudden. I was like, man, I'm over here in vampire territory. So I was trying to fix it without moving or saying too much, and my oldest son is in here trying to help me. Lord listen, always duct tape and silly putty.
It is
and silly putty.
If y'all knew what it took. Yeah, look. It got the me mug going down too.
Did he actually just listen?
Yo.
Ooh.
Oh, to kind of come full circle when it comes to the building your own table, come full circle to where we started. That is what the blaxploitation era of black cinema was, because these producers and directors couldn't knock on regular Hollywood's door and be like, "Hey, I got this great idea." Nah, man, they had to, borrow cameras, borrow cameras from other shoots, from other, bigger, larger projects that were being shot.
Hold on. Talk about in the day, guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah.
But not only that, back in the day when we shot on film, they had to borrow film. Like film was so expensive. They would, you had to have somebody that you knew, and like if they're doing a big shoot for some movie, then they might have some extra film left over, and then you would go and steal or borrow or have someone give you the extra film for you to shoot.
Yeah.
We are in a blessed time because actually, thinking about, are you at the table? And thank you again for the question, Tomas. Yeah. Another one of those day ones. Right now, if you and I are in two different states, in two different time zones, we could still put together a script and shoot a movie. And, with the fantastic thespian that Mr. Centel is. And we know a few other ones as well. And, I'm no slouch,
How now,
brown cow. But the thing is, we have the ability to shoot a major movie on a cell phone, edit it, and put it out there for consumption, for distribution. One of my, and I like stories behind things, like even though he does make some good movies, not all of them are great, but some of them are good. Steven Soderbergh, his last several movies, Steven Soderbergh has made with his iPhone.
Yeah.
And he's made a couple of major commercials for, I don't know if it was an iPhone, 13, 12 or whatever, but he made some of their big commercials to talk about the capabilities of the phone itself when they were pushing the marketing for the phone. He made the commercials completely from his cell phone. Now, he does have some bigger toys,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Like they'll tell you like
gimbals
the
and things like
phone.
yeah, he's got
Yeah.
some toys.
But the
Um,
G&E, the grip and electric department, that's expensive. That's the
yeah,
part that they don't tell you
yeah.
about.
No, people don't know what the key grip is. So listen,
Yeah.
listen, lighting and sound man. That's not,
Yeah,
but
all
he
that, those
shot,
pieces are expensive.
but he shot movies that went to the cinemas. He went
Yeah.
to the theaters on an iPhone. And people turned up and had no idea that he shot with an iPhone. That is exciting.
Yeah.
And we see it all the time in TikTok and Instagram. There are people that just make, shorts and make things on there that are fantastic little commercials and, definitely calling cards for their skills.
Yeah.
Monique is absolutely right. And Monique actually said that she is blessed enough to be behind the camera. There are, people that shoot music videos right now today with cell phones and then edit them like it wasn't, because there are enough programs out here. You have Da Vinci.
Yeah.
A lot of
Free,
people are
which is
getting away
free.
from. Yeah, you have a lot of people are getting away from uh, Final Cut
Premiere.
and Premiere Pro,
Yeah.
and you use Da Vinci. People using a lot of different things. CapCut.
CapCut is free.
Listen, my daughter can shoot some stuff and edit it completely from her phone. I'm still working on that. I still need a laptop. But my daughter she's 14. She can do it all from her phone. And that is the world that we live in today. And there are some people out here that shoot cinematic quality, and you would have no idea. You'd think they shooting with, a Red.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, a Red is probably one of the most expensive cameras out there. Probably besides some that or he's probably got specialized Reds. James Cameron probably got some stuff that
he's got all of his rigs. All of his rigs are home built. Like he builds his stuff from scratch. James Cameron's a whole different animal.
But I'm saying James Cameron, like a lot of that stuff that he's using, that underwater stuff, because he loves to shoot underwater stuff. That's his world now.
Yeah.
I think he's got like specialized Reds, whatever. He's got a deal with Red where they let him come in and build a specialized Red camera.
And you don't need
Red
to do that.
Apparently is it. I don't know.
There's a kid in the YouTube says, I can't think of his name right now. All he does is review toys. Multi-millionaire kid.
Oh, that's the kid that's got the deal with Walmart.
Shoots on his phone.
Yeah.
That's like it's wild when you hear those stories. It's like, dang, what?
Yeah, he was like 6 years old or 8 years old and is worth like $26 million just from reviewing toys that his parents would, take the cell phone and shoot his review of toys and put it up on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, his name is Ryan. Ryan's World.
Yeah, that kid.
Like at Christmas, this kid's got his own deal with Walmart to the point where when they do the big book, the big Christmas toy book, the first like 20 some pages are Ryan's. And they're all his toys. So it's not just him in there. He's got his own line of toys and board games and everything now.
That goes back to building your own table. Yeah.
Now here's the interesting thing too, because really, like his parents are fully in on the act and they're doing the whole thing. So it's like Blue's Clues over at his house. But Ryan also, if you go check his page, he does not shoot a lot of new content because he's grown up. If you still look for Ryan, who was 6 years old doing toy reviews, he ain't him no more. Ryan's probably a teenager
Ryan
now.
balls dropped. He got a deep husky voice.
Yeah. Got some like that permanent dirt on his lip. And like, so I want to talk about this new Tinkerbell. No, he don't want to talk about that. He's like probably asking his parents, when can I start shooting some stuff with some girls? Like get some girls up in this piece.
Today on Ryan's World.
And his parents, they run around there like Blue's Clues, like, hey boy, don't mess up the money. Don't mess up
he's the
bag.
He's the new Macaulay Culkin. Oh man, just us talking about the easy access to go full circle again. To talk about blaxploitations and then Harlem Nights and the sheer effort and will it took to I complain a lot about the hours it takes for me to kind of do stuff, but the will it took for cats to do it back then is a whole
Oh,
different other level. Like, what's it? People Bryce? It's not people. Mario Van Peebles, his
Mario
dad.
Van Peebles.
Mario
His
Van
dad,
Peebles'
Melvin.
dad
Melvin.
almost, yeah, Melvin Van Peebles' dad almost went blind from shooting Sweetback's badass song. I think that was the name of it. Sweetback's badass song.
Yes.
He almost went blind from every night staring at the celluloid because they didn't have digital editing back then. You had to literally, you know, the term left on the cutting room floor comes from. You used to take real celluloid. They had a knife, a thing that you would cut and tape the edits together. That's how it was. And if you didn't make the cut, that means your celluloid of your picture was on the editing room floor. That's where that term comes from. And he did that to the point that his hands got all jacked up and gnarled. He had ulcers. He almost lost his vision. Like, I don't have that level of dedication. Like, I love y'all. I do. And I'm grateful. I love y'all to death. But I ain't going blind for y'all. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. But when I think about that, I'm like, dang, that's crazy dedication. And that's just to make the film. We're not even talking about distributing, marketing, getting your money back, finding other. It's them dudes. Like, we look at some of these blaxploitation films, and we chuckle and laugh and be like, "Oh my god, look how corny this is!" Like, Rudy Ray Moore got these crazy Rudy Ray Moore has some of the worst choreographed fights I've ever seen in cinematic history. But he was like, hey, I'm gonna look like Bruce Lee because this is the dude I love, so I'm gonna just figure it out, and we'll do it like that. Like, whatever it took. That culture of filmmaking is what I admire.
Admire.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's been that way for a long time. And you're talking about the advent of digital filmmaking is only within really the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that we do things now. I mean, there's always been that reluctance to move into what the future of this genre is. Yes, absolutely. It's called splicing film.
Yeah. And I used to tug cans, bags, and cords. I used to work in the camera department, so I know what it means to tug film in little tents that they put up and cans, bags, and cords, and going to photochem for the processing. Like, I've lived that. I mean, I've got a chance to experience some of the golden age. Well, not the golden age, but the dying age of film. That's a whole different thing when you are physically holding the thing that you love. That's a different thing. Like, we just shoot now. Like, there's unlimited takes. But there was a time when it was like, we got enough money for about 3 takes. And if we don't get it in these 3 takes, we may have to figure something else out.
Yeah. It reminds me of Tropic Thunder. You know what I'm saying? The big pyro scene.
Yeah. Now you don't even have to do that anymore, man. I've been around some pyro too. When you're like, 100 feet off from the pyro and you're like, this is plenty of space and you can still feel your joints singe. Yeah. Hollywood is wild, man.
Yeah. And now they can just all do it all
and
in
now
post.
You can just do it all in post.
So crazy.
Oh yeah,
I
man.
don't know. I still have a real appreciation for practical effects.
Yes.
But to me, it just looks better. It feels better.
To kind of tie into a thing that you love too, and I want you to speak on it. I think it's one of the reasons why I adore the original Star Wars trilogy so much, especially the very first Star Wars, because 90% of those effects that you see are practical. Like, the CG that's actually in Star Wars is very, very small. It's very, very minuscule amount of actual computer generated imagery. The vast majority of that stuff is all practical. Little mini cameras making gigantic models, and it's one of those things that you can feel it. That's what makes it lasting more. Like, that lasts a lot more than, say, like The Last Starfighter or something like that.
You have never lied about that, and that's one of the things that I absolutely. I'm a Star Wars stan through and through. But I'm gonna go with a different property.
Okay.
One that we just discovered at the end of last year, beginning of this year.
Okay.
Doctor Who.
Ah, yes. That's a good segue. Say more.
Yes. So, and many of the people on my channel, especially, and many of the people on Centel's channel,
Big chunk.
know us for our Doctor Who content.
Yes.
Which is crazy because Centel's got over 1,000 videos on his channel, and he's been doing a lot for many years now. He has been getting in and making waves, and he is growing by leaps and bounds every single day. Um,
Oh.
but and even though he's got great crowds, like if you have not watched the reactions with him and MC for the Harry Potter movies, oh my God, those were fantastic. The crowd from The Bear,
Yeah.
the crowd from one of my favorite shows of all time, Extraordinary Attorney Woo.
Oh
Listen,
yeah.
it's a Korean show that is, I can't even begin to tell you how
Good.
wonderful that show is. If
Yeah.
you've not had a chance to go check out his reactions to it, the show itself is phenomenal. But his reactions make it even better. Uh,
Thank you.
not only that, I mean, but you're talking about, he's doing The Boys, he's done Bridgerton, he's a lot of different crowds all coming together. But we are still, I think, the premier Doctor Who Whovians out there in the universe. And there may be some other channels that get more views than us, and that's okay. They and us. And they don't do it like we do it. And if I'm not mistaken, hold on, let me check my spidey sense. Are we doing a live stream on Doctor Who tomorrow? I was
Tomorrow.
gonna say that we're gonna
Tomorrow.
talk about the end of season 14
Yep.
with the 15th Doctor Chute Gatwa. I don't know why I like
Chute.
saying that.
It's
You
a
probably
cool
don't
name.
even say it like that.
It's
I
just
just
a
say it
cool
weird.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah. Chute
yeah,
Gatwe.
yeah. What was your name? Chuti. What's his name? Um. So yeah, we're gonna talk. We're gonna do a live stream tomorrow, and it will be on both channels. Where we're gonna talk about season 14 of Doctor Who. And listen, we thank you for showing up tonight, and please go out and share this with other people, because I think this was a very beneficial and it was a great talk. But listen, we're gonna have standing room only tomorrow. When they're gonna show up, they're gonna be people from across the pond to turn
Yes.
up. You know what I'm saying? So I can be like, "Hello, governor," you know what I'm saying,
I
and
love it. It
cheerio,
never
cheerio, mate.
gets old. I
Yeah,
love it.
we got all that, and it's gonna be a good time. But my original point was, when you talk about practical effects,
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I am really loving Doctor Who is because since they were shooting with um, BBC money, which is basically the British version of PBS,
Yeah.
is public funds, they didn't have the budget, so they had to get creative. They had to get clever, and they did a lot of things with practical effects. They had people in costumes.
Yep.
Listen, there used to be a show that came on the Sci-Fi Channel called Face Off, where they highlighted special effects artists and the practical effects and the makeup and stuff that they did that was fantastic. And they had some people out here who are super talented. And to me, I would take that over CGI. And yes, we have some very talented and creative people who can do it digitally. And there are just some things that lend themselves to, like, just absolutely digitally amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you could have shot Avatar, the not the last Airbender, but Avatar with the blue people,
Yeah.
the James Cameron movie, without the digital and special effects that they did with that movie. I don't know if you could have done that practically. But there is something to be said about practical application.
Yes.
I know a lot of the actors, especially big actors and big, the ones that are paid, you got to show up to the set, 7 hours before they start filming for them to apply, 8 hours worth of makeup and all that. And I get that. That is a hassle, and I get it. But, I think we started with New Who in 2005. And I think the use of practical effects and digital effects is absolutely fantastic because it doesn't take itself too serious. It is whimsical, and they have things that a wide variety of audiences can. If I sat my kids down, if they were not so into sports or their PlayStations, I sat them down. They would watch some of the episodes, and then later in any given season, it gets serious. Like the content, the
Mhm.
attention, everything turns up, and that's how you want things to progress, where the storylines build upon each other. I I just find Doctor Who absolutely fascinating and fantastic. And as we approach the end of season 4, and we have now finished season 14, yeah, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And those of you that are in this particular live stream, Centel dropped. We did season 4, episode 7, the Unicorn and the Wasp on his
Mhm.
channel today. Our reaction and the deep dive for it is on my channel. So go into his, see the reaction first, and then go to the pinned comment. You can see my deep dive on it, and
That
we'll be
part.
dropping more. Yeah. So
Yeah, 889 is already they're already on the Patreon. And then
yeah.
they should be coming out sometime later on this week. Just to give y'all some insight too, because you all are here on Rakai's channel. Some stuff that everybody doesn't know. Our the Centel's main channel will be slowing down just a bit because I will be out of town for a little while, just so you know, get some little behind the scenes. Cause I know y'all are kind of curious how that all of this stuff kind of goes down. But content will still be flowing. It just won't be as thick. We won't be dropping 2 and 3 days like we have been. While I'm over
Hey,
here
this dude's a
losing weight.
beast. Hey, this dude's a beast. I cannot keep up. I'm trying to, what I'm saying, I'm trying to faithfully drop 3 to 4 pieces a week.
Yeah.
He dropped 3 to 4 a day. I was like, listen, I can't.
I'm
He got
going
me
on
over there.
vacation.
I'm over here just no mas, no mas.
Oh no, man, Rakai, your deep dives give me life, man. It's I go back to this over and over again. Like when you want to get into the nitty gritty of it, like I was saying earlier, I hate people that abuse wings, like chicken wings. Like they'll take like maybe a couple of bites, and then
Mm,
the ends be all kind of like still, like
mm,
man, get on the corners. I seen this young lady, she used to gnaw on the gristle, and she'd be like, is this like, is this unladylike or whatever it is? And be like, nah, girl, you can eat as much gristle as you want. My mama cracked the bones. My mama cracked the bone for the marrow. She can eat. My mama can eat a wing. and I feel that's how Rakai's channel is when it comes to your content, man. You ain't just like you come to my channel and you can just eat a little bit off thing and kind of throw the rest of the wing on the plate. You go to Rakai's channel to crack them bones and get at that marrow. So that is what I think the heart and spirit of really truly loving the thing that you're watching is what a lot of reaction channels, including my own, does not go into depths, does not include for just the sake of time and embarrassment. You have to go into a vulnerable place to kind of do these things. It feels real. That's why I love your deep dives and critical thoughts. And granted, I don't care who you talk to, you're not going to agree with somebody 100% of the time. I don't care who it is, but at least it's an insight and a way of looking at things that you may not have even considered, and that also brings value. So even if you may not agree or overly agree, you're gonna get some from it. So make sure for those that are already subscribed, because you're already on this channel, and for those on the restream that are gonna be seeing y'all, if you're on the restream, make sure you hit that subscription button. It means a lot. Hit that like button. These things go a very long way in the world of content creation. That like button, the share button, especially. This has been tons of fun. I can't thank
and
you enough. Go
I
ahead.
do want to, before we get out of here, I do want to share something with this is a sneak peek. I got 2 things. This is a sneak
Okay.
peek for the people who are over here, in case you didn't know. One, and on Centel's channel, you know how it's set up. If you're here, then I know that you know about Centel's channel. We are going to be making some changes gradually. Takes time, but we are going to be making some changes to keep the pace of doing TV series is rough. It's hard, and
It's right.
don't worry, Whovians. We're not going to completely abandon you. We're working it out so that we are still with you, um, because there's a lot of Doctor Who to get through. The offshoots and Tales of the TARDIS and Classic Who, and and we still have many more seasons before we're even current.
Mm.
So we're not going to completely abandon you. So don't think that. But some of the other series, we may differentiate. We may kind of slow up on doing so many other series. We might, drop back in next year when they drop a new Bridgerton or something that is really worthy of us. And I see you in the comments, and so I do want to bring it up because it made me think about they found us through our Shogun reactions. Thank you,
Yes, thank
MIU8.
you, thank you. Yeah,
Yes,
Shogun was fire.
Shogun was so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Oh
I think that's
man,
what me and
and
you really caught our stride too, was in Shogun.
yeah,
I
and
think.
unfortunately, it was
Yeah.
only 10 episodes. Because listen, I loved going in on Shogun because it was so deep. It was such layered content. And
Yeah.
even when you thought you understood it, like there was some layers beyond that. You're like, wow, I didn't even see
Yeah.
that. And, and so, unfortunately, I hope, as much as I love Shogun, I hope they don't do a season 2. If they do a
I
season
don't want
2,
them to do another season at
it's
all
got to be
either.
new content. I don't want to hear
Yeah.
no more about Toranaga. None of that. That story's done. Like
That part.
let it breathe.
Yes.
Let it
It's
do what it does.
okay
Let it.
to let it die. Yes. I
Yeah.
agree with you.
But we are going to make the transition into kind of doing more movies and doing more stuff like this right here. So you guys heard it here first. It will be gradual because there's still, listen, if you looked at Centel's shooting calendar, just the shooting, editing, and release calendar, I mean, it's full. And to be able to schedule with me, with MC, with Neeson, with Summer Punch, he's got a whole nother channel. If y'all don't even know about the channel, he's got a whole nother channel, Cinema Mosaic, where he covers mostly South Korean content. Because the South Koreans are putting out some
They
fire.
dropping some gems.
Oh my God, they're putting out fire content. So it's a grind. It is hard. And we want to be able to be more open to you, because you see, when you get Centel to open up and do stuff like these live streams and the reactions that he and I do together. Listen, this brother ain't no slouch. He talks about me getting out that marrow, but listen, he can get out the marrow out the bones too. He won't. He gets on there. Boy, this good. This some good. This some good eating right here. That boy. This some good eating right here. That boy. And then one of the things I want to mention on that. So you will start to see some changes in the channel eventually. But another thing, super exciting, is Centel has put together his own Discord so that we can do this sort of thing more often, and then not only you interact with us, but you can interact with each other and talk about all of the wonderful properties that we cover. Go spoilers, there'll be a channel for spoilers. There'll be a channel that we'll probably be in spoiler free until we get caught up or whatever. But
what?
I've seen a couple other live streams that are popping. And Centel has put his together. And listen, when he opens it up, y'all need to sign up right now. It's going to be free. Y'all need to get in before this thing. Listen, get in on the ground floor. I'm telling you, you want to be there because it's going to be popping. It's going to be lit like chicken grease.
I'm gonna do something that I didn't even expect to do. I'm gonna do something I didn't even expect to do. Check this. There is literally right now, if you go to if I look on my Discord server, there's only 2 people in it because we're still building it, and it's just me and Rakai. I'm gonna drop this link so y'all can hop in. There's nothing in there yet. But y'all will be the first. I'm gonna drop the link. This will be the first. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make sure. There it is. It's under Nupe from Daville's title thing. Hold on, I'm gonna drop another one. This is a thank you for coming over here first. You all will be the very first to say something, to be like, maybe change this. If I was making a community, I'd add that. But let me just put it out here twice again. Thank you all for coming all the way over here. It means the world to see content creators get the love and the support. So as for that, you can hop in the Discord. There's nothing in there yet. It's pretty empty for now. I'm not gonna lie to you, But the big release is going to be coming out probably in the next 4 to 5 days. I'll say about another 4 to 5 days. But y'all are in there now first.
Y'all
so you
are
can thank
already
Rakai
gonna
for
be
that.
there.
Since Rakai brought it up, thank y'all. Y'all go there, bop around. If you want to leave a little comment before everybody else starts coming in here. And you'll have direct access to me early.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be like,
And
hey,
we might even, we might even find some way to, kind of hook up our founding members, because really that's, like I said, the only two people there right now are myself
it's
and
just
Centel.
me and Rakai in the Discord right now.
So
You
when you
all are
talk
getting the
about day
breaking news.
ones,
Yeah.
y'all talk about day ones, y'all are the
day ones. Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all pay attention or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like Centel's got merch on his page, and I know people go for the reactions and our discussions, but he's got merch on his page. I got some merch, but I don't really, push it much and and things like that. But we're gonna find a way to take care of our day ones and our founding members.
That part.
Who in there, because we truly appreciate you. I truly appreciate everyone who has been on this live stream, and especially has stuck around and listened to us blather on for 2 hours. Listen, when me and this guy get together, we can go. We'll talk all day long.
A lot of shit is never going to be a problem with me and Rakai, because we can talk.
But part of that too is that we truly love this thing that we're doing. Because honestly, if I wasn't doing this, I'm going to be watching all these TV shows and movies anyway. So this is even better. I get to talk about it with one of my best friends, and we get to cut up for a little bit while we watch something and then, discuss it. And what's better than that? And then y'all get to drop in the comments and say such wonderful things like, I cannot get away for this, and I thank you so much. MIU8.
Oh, wow.
Thank you so much for acknowledging me. I'm Japanese, and you're right. It doesn't matter. Thank you. But she loved and appreciated both of our deep and respectful thoughts. Yes. I have been, and I guess it really doesn't matter either, but I've been in martial arts since I was like 4 years old. And one of the things about it is I'm a military brat, and so I have a deep respect and culture, because I've lived all over the world, and particularly Asian culture, just because I was so entrenched in martial arts. But at the same token, good TV is good TV. Good movies are good movies.
Yes, it is.
The people that put together Shogun took the time and the care and the respect for not only the source material, but for the community, for the culture itself. And they put together one of the greatest, I'm going to say it, one of the greatest TV series I've ever seen. And I'm very high on The Wire. And I know people love, The Sopranos and Breaking Bad and all that. Listen, to me, Shogun is up there as one of my tops of all time. Like, it was phenomenal TV. There was not a wasted minute on any parts of that show.
Hey, hold on. Big shout out. Big shout out to Monique69 Ways and, of course, the Ultimate TV. You all are our very first. I'm going to take a picture of this. And I'm going to post it on the main page after we make the main release of our first two.
Yes.
Y'all right there. Y'all are the first two, and I'm going to post it and put y'all's, just show the rest of the community how much I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Yes.
Thank y'all. Hey, congratulations for being the first two members of the Discord. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. And let's see if I can make sure I add a little something extra for all that love. Thank y'all. All right, Rakai, you got the mic again, man. I can't lie. I do got to get some grub. I've been on a 4-day fast where I have not eaten, and today's the day I get to eat. So
listen,
congratulations
to you, sir. Listen, I already knew. I was going to bring it up earlier too. I was going to have everybody show you some love, because you know what I'm saying. I can't see it. I can see it. That brother's hungry. Like, you know what I'm saying. He has put on
this mic, bro.
He has put on his best face, and he's had the greatest attitude. But that brother is starving right there. And I was like, listen. he probably got a Thanksgiving buffet waiting on him.
Boy,
He is
let me
getting
tell
ready to
you.
go
Let
in.
me tell you. I can smell it coming through the door. That's why I was like, ooh, yeah. I'll be
Listen, you see that? Look, Monique says the only thing she's fasting is her shoes.
shoes, man.
I can't even lie. And
Oh
here's the thing:
man.
it's not even a regular. It's not even a regular fast. He's done only water for the past 4 days. Like,
yeah. So
nah, bruh.
a little tired, a little parched. It was a marathon.
We was recording a Doctor Who the other morning, and he got mad at me because I forgot that he was fasting, and I was eating like a little apple pie for a little breakfast.
My
And
man
he's
on
just like, oh,
the stream,
so
like,
you just so you just gonna eat that delectable treat? I should know when he said the word delectable. I said, this is just a little apple pie. No, that brother, his stomach was over talking to him.
Yeah, man. Oh man. All right, the champ. Hey, thank you again to everybody that's shown love. Thank you, Rakai, for allowing me in your sandbox, man. But I do gotta roll, my guy.
Yeah, you gotta go, man. And I'm ready to go myself, man. And this has been a wonderful time spent. Thank you to everyone that showed up. And please, by all means, go check out Centel's reactions. Go check out my deep dives. We got way more stuff coming up this week, including our live tomorrow night. And look in the community page. So we'll put up a flyer on what time and everything. But we have a live tomorrow night. Doctor Who season 14. Can't wait to see y'all there. Because what do I always say? This right here, it's got to be about this. But y'all can tell these two smiling brothers on here. There's a whole lot of this. Thank y'all so much for showing up.
Love y'all.
All right. Yo.